Right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today on our very beautiful Wednesday, at least where I am. Not sure about you all, but it is a gorgeous day out here in sunny Vancouver, and very excited to be here today. How about you, Erin?
It's also sunny where I am, coincidentally,
Yes.
and also in Vancouver. So meeting is good.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, I see we still have some attendees joining in the waiting room, so I'm just going to let them in. All right. So excited to have everyone here today for our partner certification workshop. We really do appreciate you taking the time to learn more about our certification program. So I'm Jane. I'm joined today here with Erin Ma, our customer success manager. Some of you will probably already know Erin as our Forwardly expert. He is the one who does our demos, our onboarding, and looks over support as well. And he works closely with our partners and businesses pretty much every day. So he knows Forwardly inside and out. Over the next little while, we're going to walk through who Forwardly is built for, do a live demo, cover onboarding payments, auto payments, pay by card, and pretty much how the banking and business information works within the platform. And we'll also talk about why clients choose Forwardly, what it means to be a Forwardly certified partner, and wrap up with plenty of time for questions. We will also be going through the questions submitted when people registered for the webinar, but if you have any additional ones, please feel free to drop the questions in as we go. As we go through today's session, you'll also see 4 live quiz questions pop up in Teams. These are part of the certification. To earn your Forwardly certified partner status, you'll need to answer at least 3 out of the 4 questions correctly. And the questions are all based on what we covered today. So there's no trick questions. Just pay attention and you'll be in fantastic shape. So before we jump into the demo, I want to spend a minute on who Forwardly is and who it's built for, because that context really does matter when you're recommending it to clients. Forwardly is a modern payments and financial operations platform, and it's designed to help high-growth businesses move money faster. We simplify how they pay bills, and we reduce the manual work around approvals and cash flow. We focus on really taking the friction out of accounts payable and accounts receivable so that businesses can spend less time chasing payments and more time on running their business. Forwardly is built for fast-growing businesses that want, more control and more visibility over how their money moves. It's a great fit for businesses who handle a high volume of bills, have multiple approvers, or are frustrated with checks and slow payments, or are outgrowing their manual processes. We also build it with accounting and finance teams in mind so that it fits cleanly into existing workflows instead of creating more work. Now, for myself, I've been with Forwardly for over 5 years, with over 11 years of marketing and operations experience in tech and manufacturing, even hospitality. And I've also done small business consulting, although I think I just realized I need to update that. It's been around 8 years now. I'm also a member of the BC Tech CMO Council, so constantly working with other businesses to see how we can just optimize and make life better across the board for businesses. Erin, did you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, so similar to Jane, I've been with Forley for about over 3 years now, coming up on 4, and always been in kind of sales and customer facing roles, and also got my undergraduate degree in accounting.
Perfect. All right. Well, are you ready to go with the live demo, Erin?
Yep, I'll take over the screen share from you here.
Perfect.
Let me know. Did you see my screen?
I sure can.
Beautiful. All right, so when you start out with a Forley account, you would go to app.forley.com and you can simply click on sign up. When you go and sign up, you'll be taken to this page where you'll be required to input a few details about your business and do an email and phone verification. If text message is not available for your phone, there's also a voice verification available as well. Now, the biggest question that we get during the sign up process is if a business needs an accounting or ERP software in order to use Forwardly. The short answer is no. However, if you do integrate directly with your accounting and ERP system, that does allow us to perform a four-way sync where we can pull all the invoices and bills as well as your contact list onto Forwardly. And when a payment is completed, we also can push that information back into your ERP accounting system so that everything is reconciled and we take some of that manual work off your plate. So once you sign into your account or you create an account, you'll be taken to a page that's similar to this, where as an accountant or as an advisor, you can manage multiple businesses and you can always add as many businesses as you want. As an accountant and or advisor, you will also get access to a centralized firm dashboard where you can manage multiple clients all from one place. You can just add a client here and you can either join an existing client if your client's already a verified for the business, or you can set up the client from scratch. All right. Now, with that being said, I think this will be a good time where we can throw out the first question here, Jane.
Perfect. So that first poll should be going up pretty quick. Now, if you are not in Microsoft Teams, the application, if you're coming in from your browser, just throw in your answer in the chat, okay? And we will make sure to answer that and count it as your answer, okay? And that'll be up for a few minutes.
Right. So to continue on, in the homepage, you'll see kind of a high-level summary of the type of information that we have pulled from your accounting or ERP system, and also just a high-level summary of the financial situation and any outstanding invoices or bills. Now, there are two sides of the coin in our platform. There's an accounts receivable side and accounts payable side, where you can request payments from your clients and also pay your vendors respectively on our platform here. Now, let's first walk through the payable side. Now, in order to get to the payable side, you would hover your mouse over the pay section here and go to bill payments. From there, if you go to the bill section, you will see all the bills that we have either pulled directly from your ERP or accounting integration, or B, you have created directly on Forwardly. Now, if you wanted to create a bill on Forwardly, there's a couple of ways that you could do so. You can simply upload the bill by clicking on the upload button here, or alternatively, once you sign up for an account, you'll get a dedicated inbox where you can forward all the bills into, then you'll see it on this list. When you click on continue for one of the uploaded bills, we do have an AI bill capture system that will pre-fill all of these fields here for you. Now, once you have the bill ready to go, what you would do is you would simply choose the bill that you wanted to pay. Now, let's just say, for example, you wanted to pay Bob's Burger Joint here. You would just click on view. All right. From there, you can search up Bob to see if he is a Forwardly a business network member. So if he's a verified business on Forwardly, all of his contact information will be pre-filled. If he is not, then you can simply just manually punch in their email address here as well. Now, from there, you can choose which bank account you want the money to be withdrawn from, and you can add as many bank accounts as you want. I'll show you how to do that in just a little bit here. As well, you will be able to choose the delivery speed. Now, unfortunately, we do have several delivery speeds available. Now, we do have standard speed, which is probably the most cost-effective option, where the first 5 payments going out and the first 5 payments coming in on any given month is free. Thereafter that, it's only 50 cents per transaction. However, it does take a little bit of time for it to process. It does take 3 to 5 business days to process. If you wanted to look at faster payment options, we also have next day, same day, and instant, but we do charge a bit of a premium for those. We do charge 1% per transaction. However, it's capped at $10, $20, and $30 respectively for those faster payment options. Please do note when you first start out on a Forwardly account, these faster payment options may not be available at first, but once you build a banking history on Forwardly, then you'll gradually see these faster payment options become available. From there, you can choose a processing date. You can either choose today or you can schedule a future date. And if you didn't want to pay them the entire amount, you can also pay them a partial amount. All right. Now, if depending whether or not you have an approval policy set up, if you don't, then you can simply click on send payment. And from there, we will send your vendor an email that'll look a little bit like this. I'll say that, hey, so-and-so is looking to pay you X amount. On the email, there'll be a link for them to accept the payment. Once they click on accept payment, they'll be taken to our platform where they'll be required to confirm a few basic details, connect their bank. Once their bank is connected, they'll punch in their business name, verify their mobile number, then the payment will be in process. They'll have the option to create a Forwardly account, but it's not mandatory. All right. Now, if you wanted to set up a approval system, you can definitely do that by going into settings here. And when you go into settings, for any business that you add onto Forwardly, whether it's your own or your client's businesses, you can add as many users and give them specific roles and permissions as you see fit. So if you go to users here, you can add as many users as you want to a particular business, and you can customize different roles that you can apply. So for example, you can say that, hey, I want this one person to be able to only view due bills, but I want them to be able to manage payment requests. So you can kind of play around with the different roles and permissions and set up all of your users accordingly. Now, once you have all your users and roles set up, then what you would do is you would go to payment approvals here and you can set up different approval policies. And you can set up as many policies as you want. So for example, you can see that for this particular demo company, they have one policy where any bill between $100 and $700, John needs to approve it before it be sent out, but you can definitely add layers to it. You can say that, hey, John needs to approve it first, then anyone in the billing department needs to approve it, and then finally, both Jane and Aaron needs to approve it before the payment can be sent out. And to further customize things, you can say that, hey, for this particular policy, I only want these handful of vendors for it to apply to, and you can set up as many policies as you want. All right, so with that being said, I think this will be a nice time to throw in the second poll question.
All right, just throwing that live now as before. Please remember you can always answer it in the chat as well if you cannot access the poll itself.
So as you guys are getting set up for the second poll question, I will transition into the receivable side. Now, if you wanted to get into the receivable side, instead of hovering your mouse over at pay, you would hover your mouse over at get paid, and you would click on invoice payments. Very similarly, you'll see a list of invoices that we have either pulled directly from your ERP or accounting integration, or that you have created manually here on Forwardly. All right, now if you click on create invoice, you'll be able to select the customer that you want to create the invoice with. And this customer list, we have either pulled directly from your accounting or ERP integration, or you have added manually yourself. All right, now once you have the invoice ready to go, what you would do is you would choose the invoice. Let's just say you want to pay Gita here, or request a payment from Gita here. You would click on view. From there, again, you can search Gita up on the Forwardly Business Network if she is a verified business on Forwardly, or you can just manually punch in her email address. From there, you can again choose the payment speed, and the fees are exactly the same. It's anytime you initiate a payment. So again, standard payments, the first 5 coming in, the first 5 going out of every single month is free. Thereafter, that's 50 cents per transaction. And then the faster payment methods are 1% per transaction, but it's capped at $10 for next day, $20 for same day, and $30 for instant. All right. From there, you can click on send request. And when you do that, very similarly to the payable side, we will send your client this time an email saying that, hey, so-and-so is looking for a payment from you this time for X amount. On the email, they can actually download the invoice. And if you wanted to customize the invoice a little bit here, you can go to settings, preferences, and invoice branding, and you can actually upload your logo here. All right, now once they have reviewed the invoice and everything looks good, they'll click on send payment, and they'll go through the exact same workflow where they'll confirm a few basic details. They would connect the bank, or if you have credit cards activated on your account, they'll also have the option to punch in the card information. If you don't have cards activated, then they'll only see the bank option. Now, in order to activate credit cards, once you have verified your business, you would simply go to payment methods here and go to accept card payments, and you would submit an application to our credit card processing partner. If they approve it, then you'll also get the option to pass on the card processing fee, which is 2.99% on our platform, back to your customer if you choose to do so. All right, now, once they have chosen their method of payment, then they'll just punch in the business name, verify the mobile number, click on pay, and again, the payment will be in progress. They'll again have the option to create a Forwardly account, but it's not mandatory. Now, obviously, if you run a business that run on a subscription basis and you have a lot of recurring clients, we don't want you to have to do the same song and dance every single month and request a payment and have them send you the payment manually. So we do have a feature called auto payments. And what auto payments is, for its namesake, is that we would automatically process the payment for you on the due date of the invoice once you onboard that particular client or clients as an auto pay client. Now, in order to do so, you would just hover over Get Paid and go to Customers here. And from there, you'll see a list of customers that we have either pulled from your accounting or ERP integration, or you have created manually here on Forwardly. Now, let's just say you wanted to onboard Amy as an AutoPay client. You would just hover over a contact card, click on View, and from there, if you go to Auto Payments tab, you'll be able to request authorization from her. Now, once you click on this button, we will send Amy an email saying that, hey, so-and-so is looking to automatically collect payments from you. Do you give her consent? Once they click on Authorize Auto Payment, they'll go through the exact same workflow. They'll either connect their bank or punch in their card information, depending on whether or not you have cards activated. The only exception is that on the very last step, they'll digitally sign this pre-authorized debit form. Then once they click on Authorize, then Amy's officially onboarded as an AutoPay client. The entire process shouldn't take more than a minute. All right, now once Amy is onboarded as an AutoPay client, then every time you create a new invoice for Amy, whether it's in your accounting or ERP software, or directly on Forwardly here, on the due date of the invoice, we will automatically process the payment. Now, the best practice, once you have all your clients onboarded as an AutoPay client, is to set the invoice date, pardon me, a little bit before the due date. So that way on the invoice date, it will appear on this invoice list here, and it'll be scheduled for the due date. And we will also send a notification out to that particular client, just letting them know that, hey, just as a reminder, on the due date, we will be automatically processing this payment on behalf of your vendor. All right, so now if you do have one-off service for that auto pay client, maybe you did some end of the year cleanup work for them and you needed them to manually approve that payment or manually send that payment, you can temporarily disable auto payments for a particular customer. So in order to do that, you would just go back to Amy's contact card here. And if you go to auto payments, once they have approved auto payments, there'll be a little button that says click here for you to temporarily disable auto payments. Then once they have processed that manual one-off payment, pardon me, you'll be able to re-enable auto payments again by clicking on that same button. All right. However, if you do click on cancel auto payment, it will cancel that authorization and you will need to re-request authorization from them all over again in order to get auto payment set up. So if it is a one-off thing, do temporarily click on the temporarily disable button and not the cancel auto payments button. All right. You'll also be able to pick and choose the payment speed if they did choose or connect their bank for the auto debits on this page as well. All right, so with that being said, I think it'll be a good time to throw on that next poll question.
Absolutely, just throwing it up shortly. And as a reminder, you can always add your questions into the chat and we will get to them at the end. I see we've already had one come through, so please make sure to add them in if you have them. All right, and that second poll is up, so please make sure to go ahead and add your response in the chat.
Thank you, Jane. Now, back to when we're talking about the payable side in terms of adding the different bank accounts. You can actually, for vendors as well, you can add their bank accounts for qualified businesses by going to vendors here. And each vendor, if you go into their contact card, right, let's just say for Bob's Burger Joint again, there'll be a button for you to either request banking information from them so they can add it on before you send that payment to them, or for qualified businesses, you'll have access to adding their bank account themselves of yourself if you have the banking information already. Now, for your own business or for the clients that you're managing payments for, you can actually go to settings here. And as I was alluding to earlier, if you go to bank accounts, you can add as many bank accounts as you want. Now, when you add a bank account, there'll be a couple of options for you to add the bank account. The most tried and true option is probably through Plaid, where the bank account gets verified instantly. However, if your bank is not supported by Plaid or you don't feel comfortable using Plaid, you could also add your bank account manually. However, manual bank connections can cause some delays because there's a natural required verification process. It does take 1 to 2 business days extra, where we will send you a micro deposit to manually verify that bank account. So that's why we always do suggest a Plaid connection because A, it does offer those faster payment options, and B, it does offer faster verification and reduces friction. Right now, I think it'll be a good time to also throw on the next poll question as well.
Right, that question is up.
Right now, while we're on the settings page, when you do add any new businesses, all the new businesses that you add will need to go through a verification process. So whenever you add a new business and you go to settings and business profile, there'll be a button for you to go through business verification, all right, where you can where you'll be asked to submit a few documents to verify the business, and then we will also ask the beneficial owners of that company to verify their identity as well. If at any time you put in the wrong business information, such as the wrong business type was selected, you would need to submit a support ticket to us in order for our backend team to reset the verification for you so you can punch in the correct address. And submitting a ticket is very easy. You can just go to support.forly.com, click on the submit a ticket button up top here. Let us know that need your verification reset, and we'll get the backend team to do that for you. All right, now once a business everything is submitted and you see under review, you basically we're either waiting on the owner to verify their identity or additional compliance checks, or there's missing documents where the compliance team has reached out to you via email to submit those missing documents. Now, as well, when you do submit an application to accept card payments and you get approved, every year we do require you to submit an annual SAQA form for compliance purposes. Now, although Forly has no subscription fees, if you fail to submit that annual SAQA form, we do charge a $35 PCI non-compliance fee. Now, a very easy way to get around that is to just submit the SAQA form, or you can submit a ticket to us and we can disable card payments, and that stops the fee as well. Right now, when you add new bank accounts, sometimes users might think that, hey, all the card payments will also route to that new bank account that you've added. However, the card payout account is different from just your primary account for bank payments. So you would need to reach out to us to also update that card payout account when you add a new bank account. All right, so I think this will be a nice time to throw in the last question here.
We already have our last question up, so we're all done. Yep, we're all good.
All right. So last thing to run you guys through is that as a referral partner, you can click on refer and earn, and here you can learn all about kind of our partnership and the referral program here as well. All right. Now, with that being said, I'm going to throw this back to Jane, who will kind of wrap things up here.
Right. Just loading our screens back up. Please hold a moment while I get us back to where we were. All right, so for everyone today, it looks like pretty much everybody's been certified. So some of the benefits you're going to be getting is a digital badge for your website, blog, and email. You'll get a certificate for sharing, including on LinkedIn, and the right to call yourselves a Forwardly certified partner. In the future, for anybody you refer to Forwardly, you're going to get extra rewards for the verified businesses that sign up. So up to $115 each per verified business referred. Otherwise, things you need to know when it comes to referrals, identify clients or customers who would benefit from the faster, simpler payments. You need to refer them to Forwardly with your unique link, and then you'll earn the rewards when they become active. That is pretty much how it works, and we send the rewards monthly, but you can always submit a ticket and check in whenever you need to, see what you're at for the month. Now, otherwise, it's time for the live Q&A. We always appreciate, as usual, reviews. There's a link to do that if you're starting to use Forwardly, or once you've gotten a couple of weeks under your belt. Please leave us a review. It makes a huge difference with us. We're coming up on our 3-year anniversary soon, in just a month or two, and it would be incredible to have. We love feedback. Every time somebody shares a review, we legitimately share amongst our whole company. So we are still very celebratory when it comes to that kind of thing. Now, otherwise, we do have some questions that came in through the chat and from the submitted questions when people originally registered. So I want to go through some of those. First, let's go through some of the questions in the chat. So Deb asked earlier, each vendor has to accept the forwardly invite to get paid. What about utility companies, insurance companies? They don't have a person to accept this invite. So Deb, each vendor does have to accept an invite to get paid. You will be sending the payment and they'll get that email. They'll get that email that says, your business has sent a payment to them for this amount. Somebody does need to log in and not necessarily log in, but go through that guest payment workflow to accept the payment. And we're happy to share those screens with you so that you know exactly what those look for. In our experience, this hasn't been a big issue. We've had companies of all shapes and sizes accept payments. It's more to do, in my experience, with this specific utility company because some of them will, some of them just want to accept checks, or some of them have very specific AR processes that, it doesn't matter what kind of digital platform you're using. They're just, they won't let anybody log in. In that case, depending on your business, you may be able to actually input their banking information on their behalf if you have it. That's not available to all forwardly users, typically only ones with a solid payment history. And if you're interested in unlocking that, you can always reach out to our team at help@forwardly.com. Hopefully that answers your question. So if you have a follow-up on that, please let me know. Otherwise, I see that we also had one about how does Forwardly handle duplicate invoices or payments. So if there's a duplicate invoice, we actually launched our new AI agent just a couple months ago. And what we have is basically an insights section of the bills and invoices screen. It doesn't work very well on our demo version because it requires kind of like real information. But we, of course, use Forwardly for ourselves. You can ask any of the vendors we work with. We only pay via Forwardly. So it has actually caught a couple of duplicate payments that, for instance, I have accidentally sent or someone has accidentally sent to the vendor inbox. And what it does is it gives a little flag that says, hey, this appears to be a duplicate. Don't process it twice, right? And it actually requires an additional step when it comes to submitting the payment or initiating the payment that says, warning, this is a duplicate, and it links you to both of them so that you can see exactly what it's a duplicate of and make that choice for yourself. So it basically puts it to a human to take a look. Otherwise, I see a question about who pays transaction fees. So when you send an invoice payment request, you would pay the fees for that payment. As Aaron said, that's going to be 50 cents if it's a standard payment, or it would be that increasing volume depending on if you're requesting a faster payment. If you are sending it in payment, same thing, then you would eat that cost. Next question. So if you have any follow-ups, let me know on that. Otherwise, is it difficult to change owners? Nonprofits don't have owners. They have board members that change. Yes, we are very familiar with that. We do have many nonprofits on the platform. We are pretty comfortable and cozy dealing with board members that change. We generally ask that one person stay the controller for that company, and if the board changes and does need to switch the controller to somebody else within the company, just reach out to support and we will get it all initiated. It just means that the new person will need to verify the business, okay, or verify themselves within the context of the business, which usually means you need to submit some documentation to support that this person is now in a controller position within the company and can make financial decisions for them. So this is something that we deal with a lot because obviously nonprofits have they have thin margins, I know from experience, and without our having a subscription fee, it means that we're a pretty low cost, like no barrier to entry option for nonprofits. So we see a lot of them through our doors. I also see a question about, do we sync with Digits or Puzzle? Not at this time, no. But we're always interested. Reach out to us, Digits or Puzzle. We'd love to hear from you. We are looking at a lot of integrations with different products like that, and we're actually expanding a lot of stuff this year. It's been a very exciting first few months for us of the year. Now, we numerate ask for a audit log for a payment. Aaron, I'm not sure if you want to pull that back up to show what that looks like. Do you want to take a moment and find a screen that has a good example of that? And
Sure.
then share your
So
screen?
Yep, so I'm just going to quickly reshare my screen here.
Yeah. While you do that, I'll get maybe to the next question.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Deb also asked, is there an option to send a check or is it all digital? It is all digital. We don't have any check sending options at this time. It's just, it's not our jam. Yeah, we're a completely digital company. We don't even have physical offices, so we're a completely remote first and digital company. So no check options at this time. That being said, if enough people were to request them, it would definitely be something we would at least consider. So if that's something that's very important to you or very important to different customers, write into help@forwardly.com, mention you need checks, and we'll make sure to add it to our feature list. We can then at that point, that goes to our feature list, which I then push in front of the development team every, periodically and tell them, hey, this amount of stuff is required. Aaron, do you have a good
Yeah,
payment to show?
so if you are on the receivable side, you've already requested a payment, you can simply just click on view here and there will be an activity log. Actually, this is not a good example here. So here you'll be able to see when the payment was spent. If your client has viewed the reminders, you can manually send a reminder. There'll also be a payment link for you to manually send to your client as well. On the payable side, if you go to bill payments, you'll be able to see different type of payments. So if it's still processing, again, there'll be an activity log for you to take a look and different information for you to scour in order to find more information about where that payment is going through.
Yeah. Aaron, could you go to a paid payment because that's
Mhm.
to like one that's gone through? The
Yeah,
one
so
that
this
has
one is a
approvals or
little
something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, so sorry we don't have a clear example this second. Maybe Aaron, take a minute and try and find one. But they do show the approvals. So if you have a different different layered process, it would absolutely show like approved by this name on this date, requested approval from this person, requested approval from this person, and so on down the list. Basically, it'll show any activity associated with the payment. So whether it was scheduled, whether it was approved, whether it was declined. If you do decline a payment, like if you say no, then that'll also be added. And in fact, when you decline to approve a payment, you have to insert a internal note. So that note will also be attached to the activity log. Which and it is not shared, it is an internal note. So, if you get a payment in and you're like, this is totally wrong, I can't approve this, you can literally write a note that says that and attach it to the activity log. So I hope that helps. I also see a question from Deb. Are there a lot of businesses or are there any businesses you don't support? You do a lot of homeowners associations. It's not a business that deals with people. If so for a homeowners association, we can support a homeowners association only for when they're invoicing contractors, vendors, and suppliers. So we won't be able to accept their payments unless the payment is coming in from a business, and we can only deal with them paying out other businesses. So, uh, but I mean, a homeowners association is essentially an org. Like we can support any business in that sense as long as it is paying out businesses or getting paid by businesses. So we wouldn't necessarily be able to support all payments for that. But yeah, we 100% support paying contractors, including like individuals who are just acting as a business. So but that's just the differentiation. And I know a lot of companies like ours, we do have to make that differentiation of like, if you come to us and you tell us that you're an individual, we can't support you. But if you come to us and tell us that you're a contractor and you're an individual who happens to be also be a business, we can support you. It's a weird terminology thing, but that is how it works. No, you would not be able to use us to invoice the owners for the monthly maintenance fee or strata fees, or sorry, condo fees. That would not be possible because they're not businesses, so we can only support those business to business payments. Otherwise, there are other businesses we can't support. For instance, we can't do certain kinds of pharmaceuticals, certain kinds of like money-based businesses. There's a list that's on our support portal. Typically, it's not any kind of industry that you don't already know might have complications if you already work with them. So it's the same list most companies have that they can't work with. Okay, next one I see, does the bill come over to QBO when synced? So yeah, I mean when you create things in Forwardly, they're created in your synced accounting software. So whether it's a bill, whether it's an invoice, it's all synced. So as long as your accounting system is synced, it'll all sync. Oh, the attachment, not just the data. Erin, do you have notes on that? Can you remember? I'm pretty sure I don't think they've come over right now, but I know we've had that question before.
Yeah, not at the present moment, but it is on our roadmap.
Yeah. So hopefully that helps. And we can absolutely add you to the feature request list for that specific thing so that you're notified when that's added. Erin, can you make a note of that? All right, and do we do expense management too, or just bills? Right now, I mean, it's really we do bill payments. So yeah. How about in the other direction? If you have a bill in QBO with an attachment, will that flow up to Forwardly? I believe it will not at this time. Similar to the other thing, that's something that we're building out right now. And we did have a couple of questions come in from people who registered. So I just want to make sure that those are requested. What do vendor notifications look like when we ask them to set up an account? So Erin, I know you showed you showed earlier in the demo, you showed an example of what that looks like when somebody is asked to accept or accept or send a payment. So it's very similar to that. It's essentially, the same kind of idea is you're sending them a request to add their banking information and they get a notification that says, "Hi, this business would like to pay you through Forwardly. Please add your banking details here." And it's a very similar screen to what you saw earlier. I don't think we have the specific screens ready to show right now, though. Deb asked, how are you better than Bill? What makes you different and better? Well, for one thing, we're just a smaller company, so we're a lot more flexible. You'll see that we put through a lot of updates very, very, very often. As I mentioned earlier, we're our third year, so we've already changed quite a bit since then. One of the bigger things that is I think we're a little bit special for is that because we're a little bit newer, we were created once AI was already kind of a thing, right? So our entire app was built with the concept of AI is going to become a structural part of how businesses operate. And so you'll see that in the platform, how we integrate with AI and how we're building more features in. Uh, it's very intuitive and it's designed to be an app that fully integrates with automations in a way that we're very much built in a way to be able to expand as needed for whatever kind of automation improvements we can make. So in a way that I know when I talk with people about some of the other apps, is just not really a functionality that they can do because it's such a cornerstone or the foundation of the actual product is very rigid. We're not like that. We have made a lot of updates to our product over the last 3 years. And I think if you talk to anybody who tried us 3 years ago and has tried us more recently since, you'll be able to see that we've made a lot of improvements for the future. Our other big thing is that we have the Forwardly Business Network. So Forwardly Business Network essentially has all the businesses that are on our platform are added to our network. They are verified. They attach their accounting data. So it means that we have what we call kind of a bit of a unique four-way sync with this network. So for instance, if you add your client who is using Xero and you yourself use QuickBooks Online, you add your client and you connect their accounting system and you connect your accounting system. When you create the invoice for them on QuickBooks, on Forwardly, we would create the bill for them on their system, even though it's a different system. And when they pay you, we would reconcile both at the same time. So if you're an accountant, that's removing several layers of manual work that you would otherwise have to do yourself. And that network is completely agnostic. So we work with right now, I think 5 or 6 different accounting and ERP systems. And whether you're creating the bill on any one of them or creating an invoice, it's going to sync with the other person on that network, which is a very cool feature and something that isn't really out there agnostically across software. So you might see it connected to only one system, but we're doing it across multiple different accounting systems. And that's actually one of the reasons why we just won an award for it, the best B2B payments product from the FinTech Breakthrough Awards. Part of it was because we submitted it on our Forwardly Business Network. And yeah, we're very proud of that. It was just announced a couple weeks ago. So still kind of excited about that. It's always nice to win awards. Otherwise, any different and better than other bill payment vendors like Ramp? I mean, we're not going to be a great fit for every business, but for the businesses we help, we make a good difference. Not having subscription fees, having the kind of flexibility that we offer, and then especially our emphasis on faster payments and being able to make kind of instant payments more accessible for businesses, keeping our fees very competitive. That's all a big differentiator for us. So, but it really depends on the business and what they're looking for, right? If they're hoping to be cost effective, if you're an accountant and you're working with businesses who have lots of different, your clients use lots of different accounting systems, we'd be a good fit for you. Yeah. All right, and I see one more person is typing. Otherwise, we're pretty much at time now. This is actually exciting. This is our longest certification training session yet. Is the business owner the only person who can set up a new account? That's a great question. So no, anyone, any controller within the business or any control persons, we call them within a business, can begin setting up a new business. So if you're the accountant, you can easily go in and add a business. Erin, do you want to show, I think, yeah, you can, if you're an accountant, you can go in and you can add a client here, and you have the option to either join the client or set up a new client for them. Now, that does mean that the business owner would still need to go through business verification in order to get, like, they would need to personally self-verify themselves and their identity in that sense, okay? Now, it's true, if you go through this at this time, you won't get a referral fee for this. So what you would need to do is send them the link, have them start the process on their end, and then they can invite you to finish and actually do the verification. So it would be very simple for them to just, they can skip the accounting system process, they can skip the bank account process, they can literally just put in their business name, jump into settings, invite you, and that's it. And then you would get the referral for that. Okay. That is more complicated, but again, that's why there's a fee associated with it. If you just want to do the easier thing on the system, that's kind of why it is the way it is. If you're just using the internal system invite, then it's just a different process. So, but yeah, we're always open to hearing more suggestions. We're reviewing, we have a semi-weekly meeting where we go over everything that we've heard from people and go over features and stuff like that. So make sure to send in your questions and your suggestions whenever you have them, because that's honestly how we develop the product, is based on what people ask from us and what we see the users who use us regularly need. Deb, do we get a free account to use? Yeah, all accounts are free. There's no monthly subscription. So all accounts are free. Any new businesses on the platform, we actually just launched a free trial. So any new businesses that join the platform get 30 days of bank payments free. That means at the very least, standard bank payments are all free for those 30 days. And if they unlock faster payment options within that time frame too, then they could get same day, next day, or even instant payments for free too. So, but it all depends on which payments they can actually unlock. Yes, so as accountants, you get that dashboard during the sign up process. It's going to ask you if you want to create your account as a business owner or as a accounting firm owner, and you want to definitely choose the accounting firm. And then you get that special dashboard. If you have already created your account and you have created it as a business and you go, oops, I accidentally created it as a business and I really want those shiny accounting features, give us a shout. We can switch it over for you. You just need to submit a ticket. And you can always do that by pressing the support button in the bottom left corner of the screen and submitting a ticket right then and there. Okay. Just make sure to use the email that you have associated with your account or one of the emails you have associated with your account. You can add additional email aliases, and we definitely recommend that when you create your account, go through and add all of the potential email addresses that you might use or might receive payments from under your account settings, because I think you can add up to 5. And then that way, whatever email you choose to communicate with us, you will be able to communicate with you on support. Otherwise, we might have to have it back and forth and change it. All right. Well, that is us just a minute over time, so we don't want to take up any more of your lovely days. Everyone, thank you so much for joining today. It was a great discussion and we had so many good questions. If you have any follow-ups or whatever, just again, reach out to us, help@fordley.com, and you will get a direct line to Erin and myself as well as the rest of our team. So, yeah. But otherwise, thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.